Good evening, people. It's 7 o'clock in the UK. Now, so far today we've had BeFunky photo editor app mobile, and I've looked at 4 parts, which is introduction, the free, the pro feature, and what's the other one? Just making a thumbnail. Now, this part is looking at the Collage Maker, and this I thought was turning out to be pretty amazing, and now it's turning into be a bit troublesome with opportunity. So I started off by talking about the photo editor being 4000 by 3000 pixels and really, like gallery big. When we come down to, and scrolling down, to the BeFunky Collage Maker, I can only see the maximum sizes at 1536 square or slightly smaller, in other words 1536 by 1152. And then we get some choices, and the collage, if you're going to have, and I'll show you these in a second, one up, meaning just one picture, you get 3 choices, and I'll show you the formats. If you choose 2 pictures, you get 6 choices, designs, and then so on. So the biggest one, look, if we choose 5 pictures, then we get 18 different styles. In total, we've got 107 to choose from, which is pretty good and pretty useful. Now, going down to there's another thing in here called patterns, which I'll show you in a second, and that is there's retro polka dots where you can read the screen, floral, etc., down to wavy, and there are a ton of different patterns. Look at fabric, how it's got 18. So look, let's just go over to the whatchamacallit, which in this case is BeFunky, and the Collage Maker, and I'll talk you through it. So it starts up like this. Remember, I would say a huge amount of creative opportunity, but bear in mind anything you save is going to be 1536 square, which is good enough for like 10 inches or 25 centimeters, maybe sharing on social and things, but it's hardly gallery big. So if we choose straight away the one photo, we can either have it square, we can have it rectangle landscape, or rectangle portrait. If we go on to 2 photos, and we can start to build this thing up, and let's say I wanted to look at something like, 5's a good number, and let's have a look at the designs. And this is the part where my tip here is don't rush it, because if you start off and you say, okay, I've got my 5 pictures, you might not really know what's going on at the moment, and I've chosen my directory here of Vibrance HDR, and I'm going through, and this is, as you probably appreciate, some stuff that I've covered in other videos, and I need 5. So if I say 1, 2, 3, let's have a dark one, so that's 4, isn't it? Should choose one more from somewhere. It's not really the set. You can tell I'm a bit fiddly with this, aren't I, really? Oh my goodness, I can't make decisions. The tree. And we bring it in. So what we can do to start with is we can look up on the top, and we can see the bench. Let's say I wanted to change that to the you know what, I've just learned something else. I also have, meaning that you can come on and you can say, okay, if I wanted to move them around, let me just see something here. So I'm pressing and holding, nothing is moving. Press and hold, or is it a tap? Right, okay, it's a tap, and then I can start to move them around where I want to. So in other words, we can swap them. Okay, that's out the way. If you tap a photo, you get at the top here, you can change that image to another one, or go back. We can click it again and we can get the effect. Now this jumps it back out again to the same size as the collage, I believe, and then you can go back into the editing. I won't touch that because I've covered the photo editor in previous videos. Then what else have we got here? That's a rotation, so we can mess around with rotating as much as we want, and that's pretty much it. So let's just go, don't like the arrangement, but it doesn't matter. Then we go out, excuse me, just getting over from a sore throat, etc., for this Christmas period, and we can go to the next one, which is adjust. This one means that we can adjust, and I'll just tap it, we can adjust the border. Big borders, little borders. Then we can start doing the corners. Now, very little happens here until you actually get right up and you can actually get 100% and it becomes a circle, which is quite interesting because it gives us an awful lot of opportunity. And for effect, I'm going to bring that down there, which looks to look quite hideous. However, watch, because we go back and then we started, and remember I did say there was a ton of texture. So if I wanted for some reason as a little design with polka dots, then we've got a ton of polka dots down the bottom here. So if I wanted to, just to make it a bit, I don't know, don't ask, I'm just playing around here. We can come to look at colours, or we can go back to that texture, choose some polka dots and move down to, I don't know, that one. That's horrendous, isn't it? Let's look at that one. But what we can start to do is see where we're making a collage, but we're making a real design here with circles and polka dots. Call it what you like. If I wanted to go on and look at some mosaics, you can see how we immediately tap them. We can get some different designs going on here and then come back out again. Floral arrangements, hearts. Everybody likes hearts, I guess. And so almost like wrapping paper level, which is quite interesting in its own way. There's some more. And then you can come back out, of course, and say, okay, I've got a few hearts going on here, and then I can come back again and then start to adjust things and move things around. This is really just demonstrating what I may have to go back to the background. I might just choose, but the moment you put texture on, you've got opportunity, I think, which is like 1970s wallpaper or something going on here. Anyway, let's leave it for fun and go back to just demonstrate what this thing does. Then not much else to say apart from goodies, which is holidays, stickers and bits and pieces like that. Then you can come along and you can just add those things and move them around. But we did cover that in the photo editor. There's nothing different on this. And then we can come back to the text, you know, very, very similar again. And we can go on and I'm going to type the word pond just for the sake of it, and we can start looking at our pond life in the snow, or call it what you want. Silly design, I know, but the point of it is there's nothing different on that one. If I wanted to click there and click delete, I can. If I wanted to click that number there, which was the sticker, I have got a few arrangements here, meaning colour copy delete, you can read them, I am sure. And we can do a bit of flipping around and things, but more importantly we can just delete them and build them up. So that is it, I think, for Collage Maker. There's not much else to say really, apart from, and this is the big deal, and that is to say that as we can only get the larger arrangements, i.e. from 2, 3, 4 all the way up to 9 in these things, what I would draw your attention to is the cropping. So for an example, if I wanted to intentionally go in and say that I wanted a rectangle and I chose, say, that one there, I only need to add one more picture, and I will try and do this in random as quick as I can. There you go, that'll do it. So there's my picture, but I want to make a rectangle collage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out, and I'm going to come out again, and I can see very, very clearly. Let's just adjust this because it obviously is very... So let's just say I made it like that and I wanted to make it into a rectangle, and you can clearly see there's 3 pictures at the bottom which are meaningless. I'm going to come out of that and I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to save it to my gallery, and I'll cover these other save things in the next video. Then we come down and we say to ourselves, right, what flexibility have I got? And I go back into Google Photos this time, matter, and there it is, and there is our picture. Now this is really interesting because it's done is, it's not the intention I was going to say actually, but rather than actually putting the grey squares in with the pluses, what it's done is just left it blank. I can go back and add a ton of text over it, and I can write over it should I wish. The intention to show you on this video was to come along and say that when we come down to do a little bit of cropping, then we can clearly come down and make a rectangle. And if I bring that into about, say, there, and I click done, next square photo, but on a landscape rectangle, and I can come along there and safely save a copy. Square, we can and awful lot of flexibility in this BeFunky photo editor collage. And remember now that we can just have a very brief look at the patterns. There is a ton of them. Polka dots is 16. Mosaics, floral. The floral was very interesting actually. Geometrica 9. There's 91 other things. And then if you go down to look at the collage choices, there is an inordinate amount of choice and flexibility there. But please bear in mind that if you give this a go, the BeFunky Collage Maker is a maximum of 1536. There are ways around that. For an example, if you used Cloud Convert, which is very interesting, we might be able to do on a different video. But the point of it is that as BeFunky have made it clear to me, and that is clear to anybody else really, and that is that this is a a photo editor on the go. There is a desktop version which I will cover in a separate video. So let's end it there. Happy, oh goodness me, what is it? 3rd of January 2018, and this is video 5, I think, wasn't it? Okay, let's finish this one. Have a lovely day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are.